The most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in. Alright guys, they have some type of mystery object. Looks like it has some type of hieroglyphics maybe. That kind of look like a DNA sequence on the top. I believe that looks like Saturn. I'm seeing on this box, but what's inside it? Strange. I feel like they shouldn't be touching this. Some kind of pine cone. Pineal gland, maybe? Guys, what is this contraption? Tell me in the comments. Looks like some type of Egyptian evil box. Saturn box.
In 1948, this woman discovered a code that can bend reality. She used it for 30 years and had an insanely high success rate. This is Helen Hadsell. She passed away in 2010, but she was accused of being maybe a scammer, or she had some type of illegal thing going on for how many times she would win prizes. She won over 1,000 different prizes, including a house, by entering contests in newspapers, magazines, etc. But this wasn't just luck. She had a system. She had a 4-letter formula called SPEC. Select it, project it, expect it, collect it. SPEC. Select it, project it, expect it, collect it. She wrote a book on it called The Name It and Claim It Game. Select it. Be crystal clear about what you want. She didn't enter contests randomly. She chose one she truly desired to win. Project it. See your success vividly in your mind. She would imagine hearing her name called, holding the prize in her hands, experiencing the emotions of winning. She would visualize that, projecting it. Expect it. Helen believed you had to expect your success, not hope for it, because hope means uncertain. And doubt blocks manifestation. Collect it. Helen always took action. She wrote the slogans, sent the entries, did the work. Her philosophy was the universe rewards actions, not daydreaming. In 1969, she manifested a house, entered a contest for it. Out of the tens of thousands of entries, hers was chosen. She visualized it every single day until it was hers. Neuroscience confirms what Helen instinctively knew. Visualization rewires your brain. Positive thoughts build new neural pathways. Thoughts create things. Follow for more.
She discovered a real-life cheat code. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button because we do these videos every single day. Now I'd love to see you more. So let's get straight back into the action.
Terrence Howard's revealing a 6,000-year-old secret.
This is a working model of Terrence Howard's patent. From what I can tell, this is what makes time travel possible.
So this is the flower of life.
You guys should know about a 6,000-year-old secret. 6,000 years, mankind has been trying to decipher this one little thing called the flower of life.
So this is the flower of death, which is the opposite of the flower of life. And this is Terrence's website right here, where he goes into details of the difference of both of those. And this information is pretty wild. You can check it out. And this virtual patent right here can supposedly help with time travel.
And it's 6,000 years old. This same symbol has been found in the forbidden temples in China, sitting under the Fufu dogs. And the foot on it, the flower of life, saying whoever controlled that flower of life controlled the universe. There were secrets in that flower of life.
So what Howard's talking about, he didn't create this stuff. He's into sacred geometry, which is a new age spiritual practice. And my question to you is, what do you think he's in? Terrence Howard's revealing a 6,000-year-old secret.
It is interesting those statues were holding those same images. What could they be trying to tell us about those spheres?
Is that a red shoe on Ariana Grande's back? Why would she have a red shoe on? You know, speaking of red shoes, why is it that all these prominent figures seem to like these red shoes so much? I mean, everybody from, what's his name, Ronald McDonald, to good old Tony Podesta and all his friends, they've all got on these little red shoes. What is so important about these red shoes, man? I mean, look, it's always the elite, even in movies. The man with one red shoe. Tom Hanks. Also, speaking of Tom Hanks. And speaking of Tom Hanks, man, y'all remember one of the last tweet? Look, check out his tweet right here. Historic Route 66. Roadkill? I hope not. Hanks. Now, he would always go around taking pictures, right, of all these little items that had gone missing. Kid's sock, washed ashore, lost ashore. And he tells where it's at. So, that's just kind of strange to me. Here's another one. Let this be the final lost pacifier of 2019. See, as I was reading it, I was kind of like, because, dude, it just, that kind of stuff, man, just, do you not feel kind of weird seeing this right here? Be honest with yourself on that one. Have a good day.
I take a picture of that, though, and post it. There's so much other stuff you could take a picture of.
This was the famous Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. It was over 10,000 years old.
Canvas, nice views.
This was the famous Mitchell Hedges crystal skull. It was over 10,000 years old, yet the quartz was as clear as glass. They lowered the skull into a bath of benzyl alcohol and turned on the polarized light to examine its structure. The test results didn't make sense. The skull defied everything the scientists knew about physics, geology, engineering, and optics. The level of technology required to create the crystal skull didn't exist thousands of years ago, and it doesn't exist now. At least, not on Earth. This was the famous Mitchell Hedges crystal skull.
Kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones. I only seen the first one. I gotta watch the other two. Or how many of them are they? Which one was your favorite? How weird is this? It does look like a giant black body of water. Like an omnious creature. Are those a whole bunch of fish grouped together? What is it? And then we look over here. That one's like creeping forward. What on earth is this black goo?
Look at this little frog dude, man. He's making cymatics with his little frog throat croak thing. Look at that guy. You don't think that matters in music? Look at this little frog dude, man. He's making cymatics with his little frog throat croak.
Nah, this is amazing. Look at the perfect ripples in the water. Like a little sonar beacon. How orchard trees are trimmed. That cameraman is brave, isn't he? You better get out of Optimus Prime's way. If you thought I didn't have another daily specimen for you, think again. Feast your eyes on this Russian tourmaline. Oh, man, what was that? Oh, is this the same piece? Man, what would you guys name this stone? Drop it in the comments below.
Welcome to the heart of Crystal Castle, the rose quartz fountain. It's a rose quartz sphere, perfectly cut, floating on a millimeter of water. The rose quartz is from Brazil. The stone is from the Swiss-Italian border. It was cut and created in Germany by the only person in the world we know who can make these semi-precious fountains like this. Brought out here, the base made, and a giant crane lifted into the courtyard here. And people just stand here mesmerized by this beautiful movement, soft movement, peaceful movement, and the sound of the water. The polishing, the cutting and the polishing has to be so precise for it to float on the water. At the end of the cutting and polishing, they use a diamond paste and the actual sphere itself to carve the rock to fit perfectly. So it has this unimpeded ability to float. This came in 2008, one of our favorite features of the Crystal Castle. Welcome to the heart of Crystal Castle, the rose quartz fountain.
Wow, it is mesmerizing. You just want to sit there and watch it. from how smooth it goes. Very smooth. Guys, this is opal. Look at how large the opals are on the wings. This is crazy. What is that, a locust? Very unusual. What is this? Is this a watch? It's a spider watch. A golden spider watch. How crazy is this? Just a definitely unusual piece. Would you own something like that?
You remote viewed Antarctica yet?
Oh, I have. When I was in the Antarctic base and I was going through the hallways, I could feel like the cool dampness of the air. Man, what they're doing in that base was pretty horrific. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that's where the globalists are
Yep,
the show, right?
Yeah. Essentially what I saw was people basically strapped down to beds in rooms, and what it looked like, they were really all deformed, and it looked like they were doing experimentation to make some sort of like super soldier.
Whoa.
Like that was basically the vibe, but the experimentation was more so genetic experimentation. So they were using like other forms of extraterrestrial genetics to try and create sort of this human hybrid super soldier. And
That's
it was
scary.
disturbing. Yeah.
Holy crap.
One of the things I really love, this is 18th century. It's terracotta, not signed. But when I saw it, I was like, that is so freaking cute. And to be able to make something like that, and you know, terracotta is fragile, so something that's 250 years old is amazing. This is one of the things
In 1909, G.E. Kincaid, a renowned In 1909, G.E. Kincaid, a renowned archaeologist, set out to interview the chief of a Hopi tribe in the Grand Canyon. After gaining a lot of trust from the chief told Kincaid of the existence of a mysterious underground city, a megalopolis that existed just beneath the Grand Canyon. G.E. Kincaid, now very much interested in finding this city, sets off to a first expedition together with a buddy of his, another professor and archaeologist, and they go about roaming the riverbed, the Grand Canyon's riverbed, for days and days. They come to this spot where they find this strange sediment just beside the riverbed, and they stop and start exploring the area, and they find this cave. Well, they go inside the cave. It's a very narrow cave, and they walk for hours and hours inside this cave, and then they come face to face with what appears to be a man-made gate. This gate, they continue on through this gate for a couple more hours, and then they come face to face with what appears to be a giant city, a city built of giant stones, and several different passageways, secret passageways that lead into several rooms. These rooms have vents inside of them. This is a drawing actually from the Kincaid expedition. Kincaid states that one of the most impressive things was a giant Buddha statue. In 1909, G.E. Kincaid,
a Buddha statue under the Grand Canyon? What is going on? How serious is this bike, guys? Unbelievable. Everybody's going to hear you. Your whole town. That is a crazy bike. The green lady seen here at Dudley Castle. Nightmare. Forgive me. Night vision military grade. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, I see somebody. How far away are they? with little energy spikes coming off the top of these.
I've done a lot of dowsing with these two different I had some with 64 pyramids and 16, and different configurations had different types of spins and sizes of spins on.
There was a big rave back in the 70s when some group behind the Iron Curtain, I think it was in Czechoslovakia, filed a patent that said that something like this would sharpen razor blades.
Right.
I did a number of experiments with that, and the fact is they do.
They do. I did that too.
It's totally unbelievable, but it works.
And just something in the collection here. Thought we'd show for people who like to build little gizmos.
This drawing, this was originally, we've traced this back to antiquity, but it was certainly made famous by the research that Pat Flanagan did on it.
Right, it was on a Sensor 2 pendant.
Yeah, this became the heart of his Sensor 2 pendant, and he sold a lot of these. He sold them on transparencies, very large. He sold them as little metal medallions. He sold them all over the place. And it was also an integral part of the antenna system for his little ELF pulsar called the Earth Resonance Generator.
Right.
This diagram focused an energy that was very beneficial to life. And he called it, he said it focused what the pyramids generated, what he called the pi ray. And so I became very interested in this. At the same time, Christopher Hills was putting out a device called the pi ray coffer that used a different symbol on it, which was this one, the concentric squares diagram.
I built the Pirate coffer from their book, and
anyway, it had a little coil going down into it, and you'd place a piece of paper that had a thought on it or something, and your witness in it, and it would amplify that. And these things worked really well. And I became fascinated with this kind of thing in the early days, 13 years ago. And so I decided to try and come up with something that would do this that was very, very inexpensive. Like, I draw all this information about, if you just draw the Hieronymus machine, it would work as well as the machine. And all this stuff was in the literature. Here's the one that was used, took it right, lifted it right out of the Nuclear Revolution book and then blew it up. And this one I found in another book.
I like that.
Going back to this, Christopher Hill says in one of his books that the concentric squares diagram that we showed earlier generated the same kind of energy as a pyramid like this. So I did some experiments and I put together a sheet of paper like this. Just to see what it would do. And we found this with charged water, and you can get a very interesting warming effect about an inch away from it. And if you hold razor blades about an inch above any one of these points here, they'll sharpen. Just like, you get an incredible optical illusion from this thing, and I started
just from a sheet of paper. That's crazy.
Started meditating on this, and because almost everybody got the optical illusion, and so I started asking myself, well, what is an optical illusion? If everybody gets it, something's really happening, and what was it? Diagram was generating two kinds of energy. One of them, both of them would impinge upon your optic nerve, which coming off of this on a psychic level, which said this is white light, it's pure white. And the other one is the physical image of alternating white and dark areas. And the fact that your brain is getting both of these messages simultaneously, it can't focus on both of them at the same time. It's actually something going on in your nervous system. It was generating some sort of energy field, and so I decided to generate a little device, which I ended up calling the Psychotronic impressor, which started out with this little diagram in the center, and then had a flat spiral going out, and then a little witness area. And so this was kind of my cheap man's version of Christopher Hill's pi ray coffer. It had the little... And we found that you could do
get very similar effects using this as the pyrite coffer. If you would put a magnet behind this, the effects would get stronger. It was all fascinating. We even cut a couple of these, etched them in copper, like copper circuit boards, and put magnets behind them. And they became some of the most powerful broadcasting devices we ever came up with. A number of different styles of this device. Here's one with the sensor 2 device.
Energy moving there. If you took a piece of fine copper wire and you wrapped so many coils around it, leaving one end loose, and then wrapped it with some mica, and then wrap the rest of the coil around it, and leave the two wires, one outside the mica and one inside the mica, now you have a little motor. It won't work the motor as it is. If you put it in a vise or something to squeeze it at the center, then the two wires will make a little motor run. It's what you call piezoelectricity. Supposing I put that up into a pyramid or a bigger crystal, then this is feeding that more energy and is continuous. If you squeeze this to make it work, energy comes out, and as you release it, it comes back in again. It goes, it'll breathe for you. You'll never squeeze it empty, but as you release the pressure, so it fills itself again immediately, reaches balance. It has to stay in balance. And so you have a little motor there. That's one thing you can use your crystal for. If you can imagine the 30-foot pyramid that I had, knowing that it contained energy and it's free-flowing, it's always coming in and it's non-stop. I said, well, why can't I harness this through coils?
If you made it this far, the code word is Tuesday Thrill. Drop Tuesday Thrill in the comments below so I know you made it this far, and I appreciate it. Thank you. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet It's the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.